Life is uncertain. Even if your regular income has been affected, you can still talk to your insurance service provider and convert your policy to a paid-up policy. You will not be required to pay further premiums, and your insurer will still be liable for the benefits payable under this option. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Man, now you want to turn such a beautiful progress into a meaningless fight.
Julia, what are you trying to say? That me and Mwalimu are together. Look at you. You need to apologize. Shame on you to me.
If you want to be part of this conversation, you have to speak in a language we all understand. Siti wewe.
Mimi nizidi? Nani anizidishe? Kukuru kama wewe, nakwambia kakatululu kako utameza.
How can a huge person like that be beaten by a woman?
What could have teacher done Swahili? Poor mwalimu.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Good afternoon. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News. I trust you're having a lovely Friday so far. Well, it's the 7th day of May 2021 and we have so much in store for you. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Moura. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Well, remember you can interact with us on our Twitter handle at KBC Channel 1 or at Jacky Wambiru. Now to kick us off, the National Assembly has overwhelmingly passed the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. 224 lawmakers have voted in support of the bill, attaining for the first time the required two-thirds majority needed for a vote on a constitutional amendment bill. 63 MPs allied to the Deputy President, however, voted against the BBI bill, which now awaits the decision of the Senate.
It was literally the night of long nights.
Sawa, done. But you must hold on to the next vote. You still wait for the next vote.
Pitting allies of President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga against those of Deputy President William Ruto.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Nairobi people, I vote yes.
The county MP Isiolo, on behalf of the people of Isiolo, who are losing 1.6 million, I vote no.
Asha Mohammed.
From the onset, the mood was clear that the bill was going to pass, with some allies of a deputy president jumping ship and supporting the document. The second reading of a bill saw 235 MPs okay the bill, while 83 gave a thumbs down to the document, with 2 abstaining. In the third reading, which is the final stage for the passage of a bill, 224 MPs supported the bill, 63 voted no and 2 abstained. Supporters of a bill citing inclusion, resource allocation, particularly to the devolved governments, and distribution of power as some of the reasons they supported the bill.
People are talking about eroding the independence of the judiciary, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to say, I'm not a lawyer, it's true. It's true, I've not gone to a law school, Mr. Speaker. But some of these problems we are suffering from were created by lawyers, Mr. Speaker, who wrote for us this constitution, Mr. Speaker. The winner take it all, the two-third gender, all that was written by lawyers as committee of experts, Mr. Speaker, not by laymen like me, Mr. Speaker.
We know that this has dogged this parliament or Kenyans at large for a long, long time. But the constitution of the proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, actually goes even beyond the expectation, especially in the Senate, where it offers a 50% representation for both genders.
And when a member, on behalf of a cabinet secretary, when a member asks another question or a question beyond the one that was asked to the cabinet secretary, all a chair can say is that I'll consult.
Iwapo twapanga kuongeza maeneo bunge 70, Mheshimiwa Spika, ina maana kwamba ni lazima kuwe na fedha ambazo zitaendesha maeneo bunge haya kama vile yanavyoendesha maeneo bunge mengine, Mheshimiwa Spika.
At the last clause of clause 44, it is being said that Parliament will enact legislation to give better effect to the provision establishing the Judiciary Ombudsman. What does that provision avail us, members? It means Parliament will now, under that legislation, make prescriptions, Mr. Speaker, in terms of how the President will reach the number of people to nominate from.
Even though President Kenyatta and Odinga had asked the MPs to give the bill a bipartisan approach, the differences between the handshake team and the pro-DP Ruto camp were clear.
On behalf of the people of Kilifi, and because Kilifi is getting 4 new constituencies, I vote yes.
I, William Jirjir Chepkut, Member of Parliament of Ainapkoi constituency, was in Kishu County. Because we were given 3 constituencies interest, I vote big yes.
Mimi Mohamed Ali Mohamed, kwa niaba ya wakazi wa eneo bunge la Nyali na taifa mzima kwa jumla, napiga no.
I am Dede Nyoro, and on behalf of the people of Kiharu, the people of Muranga, and the entire Hustler Nation, I say a big no. No to deception, no to conmanship. And to those of you making noise, there is nothing you can do to me. Cowards, traitors, sellouts.
And there were a few surprises. The likes of Bahati MP Kimani Ngunjiri, a vocal Ruto supporter, throwing his weight behind the BBI.
I, Onesimus Kimani Ngunjiri, MP Bahati, I vote yes.
With a green light from the National Assembly, all eyes are on Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka as he makes a ruling next week on the clamour by some senators to amend the bill. On Tuesday this week, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi thwarted similar attempts, ruling that Parliament cannot make amendments to the contents of a popular initiative.
And away from matters related to the BBI accident Singa Dam, in which 2 fishermen perished, now attribute the accident to strong winds. Safin Achingoma has more details.
At the shores of Masinga Dam, a dark cloud hovers as residents gather for a brief meeting following the death of 2 fishermen whose boat capsized on Monday, the 3rd of May 2021. On board were 4 fishermen. 2 were lucky to survive. Benson Moasia, one of the survivors, say they had to hold on to the boat for several hours before they were swept to the shore, but 2 of their colleagues were unable to swim due to the intensity of the wind.
Tulikuwa tu harakati za kazi. Alafu upepo ikazidi. Sasa harakati za upepo bodi tulikuwa na yeye ikazama. Tulikuwa 4. Wenye walifaulu, tulifaulu tukiwa 2. Wenzetu 2 walizama kwa maji.
He narrates how he managed to escape death by a whisker swimming amidst heavy winds.
Sisi yenye tu ilitusaidia tuseme tu ni Mungu juu akilenya ilitufikia wakati huo ni kujishikilia hiyo boti yenye tulianguka nayo. hiyo kushikilia boti upepo ikatupeleka mpaka kando bali sana.
He says that a good Samaritan rescued them when they were swept to the shore of the dam. Their 2 colleagues, however, were not lucky as they were unable to swim due to the strong winds. According to the area chief Zipporah Mutiso, the bodies of the deceased floated 5 days after the accident. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Aching Oma.
In other news, Siaya Governor Cornel Rasanga has put on notice politicians flouting COVID-19 guidelines. Rasanga said the political class is regrettably contributing to the spread of COVID-19 in the county. Rasanga says all political gatherings have been halted and those found contravening the directive will face the law.
Siaya Governor Cornel Rasanga has sent out a stern warning to politicians fueling the spread of COVID-19 in the county. Rasanga argues that in the last week, the positivity rate has risen in the county, a situation attributed to constant disregard of set.
Well, we do apologize for that technical hitch. For now, we'll take a short break. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Darius, let's go.
I ain't finished playing yet.
I said it's time to go.
Look at you. I just think that we can have some beautiful babies.
I have a career, and a baby's just gonna get in the way right now.
Look at you. Look at you.
Are you gonna hoop later?
Yeah.
Good. They'll feel a little spare tire.
If you stop spending so much time with those boys, you wouldn't be having this argument right now.
I'm out of here.
Babe, it's too good a man for you to lose. You got to go over there and snatch him. I need you to know that I love you so much. You'd make an excellent daddy someday.
Not easily broken. 92.9. Hii ni KBC Radio Taifa.
Kila kitu maishani kina sauti yaleta furaha.
Radio.
Sauti ya elimisha ya
Next on.
Hello, my name is Queen Ananjoki. I am 10 years old. I school at Kids Academy Nakuru, and I am a model.
Long ago, there lived a fat little Jumbo in a forest. His name was Jolly.
Napenda sana mitindo ya nywele, kuruka usiseme, viwanja vipya ninakaribishwa, kwenye kurasa za Insta na kesha nikitafuta.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Kwa wale jamaa wanakupinga wewe, yani wanakufuata wewe kutaka kumaliza wewe. Wewe ulikuwa wako juzi katika ule mkutano yule senator amefanya huko. Mbona hujaniambia nini?
Samahani bosi. Alikuwa nataka kuelezea lakini sijapata muda.
Utanieleza lini? Wewe uache mpaka watu watoke nje waje wanieleze mimi, wewe ulikuwa unieleze lini?
Mami. Yaani nina ubuyu, gazeti, mchele. Sijui nianzie wapi.
Welcome back. Now allow us to take a step back where Siaya Governor Conor Rasanga has put on notice politicians of flouting COVID-19 guidelines. Rasanga said the political class is regrettably contributing to the spread of COVID-19 in the county. Rasanga says all political gatherings have been halted and those found contravening the directive will face the law.
Siaya Governor Conor Rasanga has sent out a stern warning to politicians fueling the spread of COVID-19 in the county. Rasanga argues that in the last week, the positivity rate has risen in the county, a situation attributed to constant disregard of set guidelines.
That's about 7 days. Some 82 citizens of Siaya County were reported as having COVID-19. During that period, 256 people were tested for the virus. This translates to a positivity rate of 32%.
The governor reiterating directives by President Uhuru Kenyatta banning all forms of political gatherings that have turned into super spreaders.
That no political meetings will ever be held. We are in consultation with the county commissioner, so anybody who goes for that knows that it will be very distasteful at the end. All leaders found guilty of organizing such gatherings and breaching Ministry of Health protocols in the process will be dealt with in accordance to the law.
The governor urging members of the public to be extra vigilant following the confirmation of the Indian COVID-19 variant in the neighboring county of Kisumu. Meanwhile, Bungoma County First Lady Caroline Wangamati is calling on women to take the lead in donating blood as they are the greatest consumers of the commodity.
Don't let someone tell you that your body is weaker because you're a woman. No. Equally the same way the men are donating blood, we should donate blood. In Kenya, overall 11% of the blood donations are done by women and over 90%, close to 90% are done by the men. Mbona tunaachwa nyuma?
The First Lady cited blood shortage in the county, even as she refuted claims of illegal sale of blood to patients in the various hospitals.
In most cases, what a hospital will be charging you is what we call the consumables that go around enabling a transfusion to happen. It will be the cannulas, it will be the blood bags, it will be the gloves, and everything else that goes towards enabling a self-transfusion happens.
Nancy Okwari, Channel 1 News.
And away from health matters, more than 500 farmers in Mandera North have a reason to smile after the county government donated a 17 million shilling water pump. The pump has a capacity to help irrigate more than 150 farms.
Both large and small-scale farmers will benefit from the pump project.
The area member of County Assembly says there is need to factor in such projects in the budget since they have the potential of boosting socio-economic life of the residents.
This is going to be a game changer. This is going to help them so much. And God willing, the benefits of this will be realized very soon.
Speaking at the function, County Deputy Director of Irrigation Nicholas Omondi urged farmers to properly manage the project.
It comes to issues to do with the maintenance. They maintain them properly so that they can be used for a longer period of time.
Farmers also expressed their appreciation.
Leo tumeleta engine mingi, 27 engine tumeleta, ameleta mheshimiwa. Mungu asaidie yeye, tumefurahi leo.
For long, Mandera Northeast has been ravaged by pangs of drought, prompting pastoralists to opt top crop farming to combat food insecurity.
In other news, an 8-year row between the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited and the Maasai community over land compensation in Kajiado Central has finally been resolved. The once elusive consensus now paves way for the continuation of the 90-kilometer Isinya-Namanga power project. The stalemate over land valuation had threatened to stall the 90-kilometer Isinya-Namanga project after the community rejected the offer of 800,000 shillings per acre compensation as promised by the National Land Commission.
Jamii hii wamelalamikia mashamba yao kupitishwa stima bila kulipiwa pesa ya compensation, walalamika kuhusu ajira ya vibarua kwa watoto yao na wale contractors ambao wanafanyia kazi mashamba yao, na kulalamika pia kwamba kazi hawakupewa za kusupply materials.
The Ministry of Land had valued the land in Mailwa and Lorongoswa at 750,000 shillings, a figure that was earlier disputed and rejected by the community. The community in Matapata North and Southward said the land had been undervalued, stalling the project. Kitrako and the community came to an agreement, paving way for the continuation of the power project. After the meeting, Kitrako announced that the land will now be valued at 1.2 million shillings in both the Mailwa and Lorongoswa block, bringing an end to the conflict.
This push and pull has been going on for the last 8 years. I'm happy today we have come to a conclusion, to an agreement that we will compensate the affected people, and we will follow the rate which was given by NLC and what we have agreed, but the evaluation from the Minister of Land.
Compensation ya milioni 1.2 kwa eka at a rate of 35%, na kwamba katika chini ya wiki miwili hii pesa itaanza kuingia kwa community hii.
Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenko said the stalemate had slowed down works and brought bad blood between the power company and the community.
Furahi kwamba finally community na national government wamekubaliana, na sasa iliyobaki ni sisi wote tufanye wajibu wetu. Tunajua kama taifa kwamba stima ya 400 kufika Tanzania ni muhimu kulingana na maktaba yetu ya East African Community.
This line will help Namanga to get adequate power, and it is our duty and responsibility to make sure that we deliver the services to wananchi.
Tumekubaliana hiyo compensation tumetoa, tumeridhika nayo ili amani ipatikane na maendeleo iendelee, tupate stima na wenzetu wa Tanzania wapate pia stima.
Meanwhile, a section of residents of Kamoshege in Lari sub-county has accused the Athi Water Management Authority of sidelining them in the ongoing construction of the Ruiru 2 dam. The residents say they were never consulted over land acquisition.
Sasa tena wanakuja wanatuambia tena pande ya juu tena serikali inataka kuchukua, na tujakaa chini tuelewane, mashamba zetu zinaenda. Sasa tunauliza sasa wachukue chini, wachukue tena juu, sisi tutaenda na tuna mahali ya kwenda.
Athi Water Management Authority says consultations are ongoing and that more land will be required in the construction of the 17 billion dam.
Business is gradually returning to normalcy for thousands of entrepreneurs spread across counties located in the western region just a week after the government lifted restriction on movement in and out of the 5 zoned counties. Public service vehicle operators plying the Kisumu-Nairobi and Kisumu-Mombasa highway say they have begun registering returns thanks to the lifting of the ban. Bar owners, however, are pleading with the government to reconsider the decision to limit their operating hours. Now, Wycliffe Okech has the details.
1 week since President Kenyatta lifted the blockade on the 5 disease-infested counties of Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, Nakuru and Machakos, the effect of the relaxed restriction has been significant in the transport sector.
Kuna mbili tatu zimeanza kubadilika hapa Kisumu. Kuna magari ambayo yalikuwa yanabeba abiria ya kutoa Nairobi wakileta hapa na zimeanza kuingia, at least naona uchumi hata chakula zimeanza kuingia, vitu kama waru kutoka kule juu Nakuru zinaingia hapa, nyanya kutoka Nakuru zinaingia hapa, ambapo wakazi wa Kisumu at least waanza kujitegemea.
Business is not moving that much. Things are picking up slowly, but we still have faith and hope that things will just come back to normal.
Although PSV operations are recording small profit margins, the operators say it is better than total shutdown of operation. The operators are, however, pleading with the government to adopt favorable strategies and only use cessation of movement as a last resort.
Hakuna vile mtu atatoka hapa Kisumu aende Mombasa ukishafunga Nakuru na Nairobi. Wakati wa kufunga anaweza sema gari zimetoka mahali fulani zinakuja na majina yote. Waweke kama inaweza kuja na magari, inaweza kuja na majina imeandikwa abiria fulani wametoka station fulani. Na kwa gari kwa broad block wana confirm inapita. Kuliko wakifunga Nakuru, Kisumu kama imefungwa indirect.
But even as the transport sector slowly breathes back to life, bar owners say they are still feeling the pinch despite the relaxed restrictions.
Club actually starts from 7 or 8 going onwards. So when we say we close by 7, it's just saying like we change the business to something else. As we speak now, by last week I've laid our staff, 3/4 of the staff we started. You can imagine those staff has family to feed on, have children to take to school. Again, government are closing and they're opening schools. We don't know where these parents will get school fees.
They claim they have endured a difficult 1 year and that further restriction may prove fatal to their businesses. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Kisumu County, I'm Wycliffe Okech.
Away from that, the Garissa County government has rolled out a food distribution program targeting some 2,000 vulnerable families in the county. Now, this exercise will target families in Iftin, Galbet, Waberi, and Township wards.
Speaking at Iftin Primary School grounds, Garissa County Secretary Abdi Sheikh said the executive is waiting for the County Assembly to debate and pass the Garissa County Disaster Risk Management Bill 2020, which will lay the legal framework for collaborating with other partners in mitigating natural crises.
The Department of Special Program in mitigating issues of emergencies are part of this program. The Directorate of Religious Affairs and the Office of the County Secretary. We have engaged together, we have discussed on proper planning system of ensuring that our people receive certain items without any problem.
Sheikh, however, regretted the major resources available, which could not allow for the program to be rolled out countywide, but promised it will be scaled up next to reach more people and give more food and non-food items to vulnerable families. For Channel 1 News, I'm Wambui Otiende.
Chief Administrative Secretary for Gender, Lena Jebi Kilimo, has called for more concerted efforts in the fight against female genital mutilation. Well, let's take a look. In Kisii County during the launch of the county-specific costed action plan and the minimum service package for FGM documents that will be used by stakeholders to create awareness and assist in the implementation of gender policies.
And the Kisii County government took that document and accosted it and came up with also minimum specific service that they need to undertake so that they can eliminate female genital mutilation in Kisii County, which is still very high at 84%, with medicalization taking the lead in the practice of female genital mutilation. So we are here to actually launch those documents and thank the county government of Kisii for being bold enough to domesticate or to cascade their national policies into something tangible and practical in Kisii County.
We believe that we are going to work together now, the national government, the county government, and all the stakeholders to end FGM. Female genital mutilation is violence against a girl child, and it must end.
And away from that, residents of Hewani A and B, Amani and Gorani area in Tana River are elated following the launch of a water project in the area. Now, the water project, which is being spearheaded by the German Agro Action, is expected to help and bring and eradicate waterborne diseases and poor hygiene in the area.
For many years, over 6,000 residents of Hewani A and B, Amani and Gorani areas in Tana River County have faced a major challenge in accessing clean water. The residents have had to compete for the scarce resources with crocodiles and hippos in the River Tana. Almost everyone here has a story to tell about death as a result of human-wildlife conflict.
Hata watu wengi sana walikuwa wanachukuliwa na mamba sababu maji. Kiboko, nyoka, hawa nini mamba, mambo mengi ndio yanatufanya namna hii. Si tulikuwa tunaumia sana.
Many women say they have been suffering in silence from gender-based violence.
Mimi nilikuwa na mtungi akaniruka maji. Sasa nikaanguka huko. Ni wakati nimeanguka akaanza kunipiga sababu ya hayo maji. Nikamwambia sawa sana, shukrani. Venye unanifanyia. Kwani mimi nafikiri nimeenda wapi? Si nini naenda kuchota maji na unajua venye maji ni watu ni fallen. Na wewe unakuja hapo unanipiga sababu ya maji. Kwani huwa kweli ni uingana? Tumetata siku ya paka siku mbili tulikuwa tunasumbuana. Sasa tunashukuru venye nyinyi mmetuletea huu mradi kwa saa hii hiyo vita kwa maji itakuwa vimeisha.
The residents lauded the initiative, saying it will reduce the time wasted in search for water as it is now available and in plenty.
Saa hii zimekuwa kidogo, maana mtu anasumbuka, hakuna mahali ya kupumzika, mtu watoto anataka chakula, maji hakuna, mtu ni kwenda kushota maji. Saa hii mtu anapata raha, anafanya mambo yake, anafanya vitu zake, kama ni kwenda shambani anakuja analima, mtu anapata raha.
Elsewhere, farmers in the larger Teso say they are feeling the adverse effects of the ongoing heavy rainfall. The downpour damaged crops and swept domesticated animals downstream.
Mafuriko imeleta hasara kubwa kwa sababu unaona pale mahindi hapo hivyo mali nyingine imekufa, na nguruwe kuna nguruwe kama karibu hapa, nyingine zimechukuliwa na maji.
Area Assistant Chief John Imojiri says the floods are perennially experienced this time of the year and that the only solution is the building of dikes to prevent heavy volumes of water from spreading to the farms. For Channel One News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
Now, on a separate matter, residents of Lanette, Nakuru County will now access healthcare services at the newly commissioned Lanette Sub-County Hospital. The 35 million shilling project is part of the county government's 1 billion upgrade program targeting healthcare provision in all the 11 sub-counties.
The new facility has the capacity to offer healthcare services to an estimated 200,000 patients from Lanet sub-county and its environs, with the outpatient wing expected to offer high standards of medical training and top-quality specialized healthcare facilities.
Watu wa Karushwa wamekuwa wakienda hospitali mbali sana. Wamekuwa wakienda either Kiwamu huko upande mrefu wa Kiamunyeki huko, na wengine wanaenda upande wa Dunduri, especially wamama wamekuwa wakisumbuka sana.
The facility will be fitted to offer trauma and emergency services, obstetrics, gynecology and radiotherapy among other services.
Lakini sasa hii hospitali itaweza kupatiana facility ya kuwa na maternity, na mimi naona hiyo itakuwa mzuri. Pia hapa tutaweza kuwa na ward za wanaume, ward za wamama, ward ya watoto, kutakuwa na mini theater.
Other facilities nearing completion include the 159 million Joro Sub-County Hospital, the 157 Molo Sub-County Hospital, the 60 million outpatient complex at Olenguruene Health Center, and the 330 million outpatient complex at Naivasha Sub-County Referral Hospital, expected to be operational in 3 months. The Nakuru County government says the ongoing project will help the county accelerate its march to universal healthcare coverage.
Well, that report brings us to our second break here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We'll be back in a jiff.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBay ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBay ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
We believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth and all that is seen and unseen. We believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only Son of God, eternally begotten of the Father, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, one in being with the Father. Through him all things were made, for us men and for our salvation.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Nissin Creed, bonyeza *811 *961#. Bonyeza *811 *961#.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Kwanza kisha tukamwone wako.
Ameshafika tayari.
Hata mimi nishafika na ngoja mtoto aamshwe.
Hapa naona kidogo tumechanganyana kaka. Hapa ndio kwangu. Utasikia bwana?
Hapa.
Saumu.
Uolewi wewe?
Kwa hivyo ulisikia sababu sijaolewa nitolewa na kijitakataka chochote kitakachokuja, si ndio?
Huyu nani huyu? Huyu
Baba mtoto.
Umesema nini wewe? Huyu ni baba mtoto huyu.
Wewe ni wako.
Eti unasema nini wewe?
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at business news where the deadly, not business news, rather international news where the deadly Indian COVID variant has been found in the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Australia will resume repatriation flights for its citizens stranded in India.
The Kent, South Africa and Brazil strains have all been deemed as variants of concern in the UK.
These versions, along with the Indian variant, have all undergone changes to their spike protein, the part of the virus which attaches to human cells. The original Indian variant was first detected in the country in October. Meanwhile, Australia will resume repatriation flights for some citizens in India after a controversial ban on arrivals from the country ends on 15th of May. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has faced criticism for failing to help citizens trapped in the COVID-ravaged nation. He said they would begin by bringing back vulnerable citizens. Of the more than 9,000 Australian citizens in India, only 900 fit in this category. His government will wait until next week to make a decision on whether to restart commercial flights from India. In other news, the United States has deployed extra military resources to protect American and coalition forces withdrawing from Afghanistan. Heavy bombers and fighter jets will be deployed to safeguard troops and civilian contractors. U.S. President Joe Biden has set the withdrawal deadline for 11th of September, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks that sparked the war. The withdrawal comes amid escalating violence, with Afghan security forces on high alert for reprisal attacks. The Taliban have warned they are no longer bound by an agreement not to target international troops.
Youth around the country have been urged to be more aggressive in engaging in socio-economic activities as emulated by emerging cooperative groups started by persons in their 60s. Sexagenarians say engaging in economic empowerment projects operated under cooperative movements are an attraction to many, improving to the adage that old is gold.
At the age of 60, most elders are left with a lot of time in their hands and risk boredom and a lackluster lifestyle. However, a group of elders decided to deviate from this path and opted to form cooperative societies for economic empowerment and creating job opportunities for the youth.
Tulianza wakati tulikuwa na harakati ya shida ya wakati wa crisis 2008, na kikundi hiki kilikuwa kina walikuwa na kusa Pareto, na baada ya crisis sasa ile mambo ya Pareto ikaisha, na tukaona ni vizuri tuanze kazi ya kupanda njugu.
The sexagenarians have since diversified and is currently also focusing on investing in setting up a milling plant for value addition.
Licha ya kuwa na kazi hii ya upasuaji wa bao, tukinunua miti, tuliona hatuwezi kuwa tunakata miti na hatuna ambayo tunapanda. Tukawa wakati tunaanzisha tukaiweka ikiwa pamoja iende sababa, tukaanzisha hii tree nursery.
For example, with support, a sawmilling plant was set up with a loan of 2.5 million shillings in 2016. Since then, they have been doing well and have been financed 3 times with over 6 million shillings from the county enterprise fund.
We acquired this milling plant. It is the latest milling plant which can do 100 bags in a day, and we expect that we shall be in the shortest time possible. As soon as we get power, we shall be in the market with the flour from Burnt Forest area.
Currently, cooperatives like Kuonambele cooperative members are purchasing maize, beans and wheat from farmers and selling it to the Kenyan Cereals and Produce Board.
They never disappointed. They have done well in terms of repayment.
The World Food Programme and other buyers with county governments looking to support ventures financially as well as through capacity building. The two cooperatives have created job opportunities to youths and are being urged to form cooperatives as an avenue to tackling poverty and creating food security. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
Mining giant Rio Tinto has faced a shareholder revolt over a $10 million bonus for its outgoing boss. In a rare development, 61% of votes cast at its annual meeting opposed the firm's executive remuneration package. The backlash comes after the company destroyed sacred Aboriginal rock shelters in Western Australia last May. Here are the details of these and other stories in our Global Business Roundup.
Rio Tinto blasted the 46,000-year-old rock shelters at Yukon Gorge to expand an iron ore mine, sparking an outcry and leading to several resignations. The pay package covers $55 million earmarked in salary and bonuses for the company's top 14 executives. Despite the shareholder rebellion, the executives are still expected to receive their payouts, as the vote was advisory only. Elsewhere, France has laid out plans for billions in spending from the European Union's Pandemic Recovery Fund, calling on the EU Commission to fast-track its approval of massive spending plans designed to prop up economies battered by the COVID-19 restrictions. At a joint news conference with his German counterpart, Olaf Scholz, French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire warned that the European Union's recovery risked falling behind China and the United States unless funds were released quickly. Last year, France's economy shrank by 8.3% amid the virus crisis, the worst slump since World War II, according to the National Statistics Institute. Finally, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at a record high on Thursday, bolstered by an upbeat weekly jobless claims report, while vaccine makers dipped after U.S. President Joe Biden backed plans to waive patents' patents on COVID-19 shots. Lifted by Apple, the S&P 500 rose after a Labor Department report showed initial claims for state unemployment benefits totaled a seasonally adjusted 498,000 for the week ended May 1st, compared with 590,000 in the prior week. Investors were awaiting a more comprehensive non-farm payrolls report on Friday for clues on the strength of the labor market and potentially the U.S. Federal Reserve's stance on monetary policy.
West Pokot and Laikipia have emerged as the counties with the most transparent budgets. Nyeri, Makueni and Samburu snapped up the remaining 3 slots to close the top 5 counties with the most open budgets. Kirinyaga, Narok, Taita Taveta and Wajir were ranked counties with the most opaque budgets according to a research by International Budget Partnership. Well, here is our reporter Caroline Jenga with the findings of the 2020 County Budget Transparency Survey. Twenty-four women groups and people with disability in Dondori ward in Nakuru County have benefited from a 16 million shillings program by the county government aimed at unlocking 3 billion in the poultry subsector. Ward Representative Michael Shege says the project aims at improving breeding and multiplication of indigenous chicken, with 13 youth and several women groups receiving 1,800 chicks of improved indigenous chicken under an improved local chicken stimulus project.
Statistics from the Ministry of Agriculture indicate that Kenya has an estimated poultry population of 31 million birds. Out of this, 75% consist of indigenous chicken, 22% of broilers and layers, and 1% of breeding stock. The traditional chicken is mostly kept in rural areas, while layers and broilers are mainly reared in urban areas.
Nimefuga kuku hata kama niko na ulemavu, niko na kuku kama 70.
To ensure that smallholder farmers realize optimum production, the county government of Nakuru says it has attached a veterinary and livestock extension officer to the project who will equip breeders with necessary technical advice such as how to feed the birds and administer vaccines. So far, 110 cooperative societies in the county have received 96 automatic chicken incubators and backup generators valued at 6.8 million shillings, while in Bahati sub-county, 6 poultry farmers cooperatives had each received a 3,200 egg capacity incubator to boost their operations.
This is a program that inaendelea across the county. We roll out all the wards. Now we are targeting groups ya wamama na disabled.
Nimefurahi kwa sababu mimi iko na toshosho, hawana mama yao, hawana baba yao. Sasa mimi talisha nikiusa mayai mimi nawapeleka kwa shule.
Officials say the project is designed to shore up rural economies while ensuring the use of limited available space to feed the growing population in fast-growing urban centers in the region in the spirit of achieving food security and nutrition, as well as create employment.
And in the sports world, Manchester United reached their first final of the Ole Gunnar era but lost their 7-match unbeaten record in an entertaining Europa League last 4 encounter against Italian side as Roma. Now, meanwhile, Arsenal's Europa League hopes were dashed as Villarreal sealed a semi-final victory that will almost certainly end the Gunners' unbroken 25-season run of appearing in European competition.
Edison Cavani scored both United goals in the second leg of a 13-goal semi-final, which saw United proceed to the final with an 8-5 aggregate win. Cavani opened the scoring for United in the 39th minute before Edin Dzeko levelled the score in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Brian Cristante added a second in the 60th minute, but United equalled the score 8 minutes later. Tele scored an own goal which saw Roma clinch a win but didn't qualify for the finals. In another match, Arsenal's Europa League hopes were dashed as Villarreal sealed a semi-final victory that will almost certainly end the Gunners' unbroken 25-season run of appearing in the European competition. Trailing 2-1 from the first leg in Spain and knowing that victory in this tournament represented their only realistic route back into the Champions League, Mikel Arteta's side could not find a way past the visitors' stubborn defense. The finals of the Europa League will be played in Gdansk, Poland on the 26th of May.
Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers has confirmed that defenders Johnny Evans and Ricardo Pereira are both fit to face Newcastle United at the King Power Stadium tonight. Leicester, who are placed third in the EPL table, will be looking forward to clinch a